Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Paul Hall, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Any signs of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve?
Not from Baldwin Park, California. Oh,
Any evidence?
so enthusiastic.
It's okay, we'll rattle our way through them if people aren't that keen. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No axial rotation of the Earth-based variety. We'd know it if there was.
Well, they claim Coriolis deviation, we don't see any of that. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No, there's just a name, Nathan. I mean, if anybody looks into it, it's a force, but it's not a force, but you can think of it as a force. It's an effect caused by the bending of space-time. And it's just a word that means weight, as Paul said before, gravitas. And they take that word and they hijack it and then try to make it mean something that doesn't even exist.
But it still gets me down.
Any single
That
viable...
sounds like an ELO song.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology or astrophysics?
None whatsoever. Not from Dr. Becky, not from Michio Kaku, not from Neil deGrasse Tyson. All they can do is observe something. After that, their scientific method is not open or available to them.
What about the other guy?
The other guy?
Brian Cox?
The Dr. Faulkner guy.
Oh, Danny Faulkner.
Dr.
He's
Faulkner's
strong.
not going to provide scientific hypotheses. You've got to be joking.
Well, lately, he's sending you to YouTube videos, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Owen. Any
Yeah.
evidence of the distance to the sun?
It's over there, I think.
No evidence for the distance.
Oh,
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
No.
oh yeah, QE found some evidence.
You lie.
No. I tried to present it. Yes, they are presented right now. There you go.
That's not evidence for the R value. The proof of R, 17%.
Well, that's it.
That's R for red herring
Or red wine.
or red wine.
Do we have distance to the sun already? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No, yeah, you asked that.
R value. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the end, at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Not at the center, not at the end, not at all.
Well, then what's
Nope.
there?
Okay, the last I've saved deliberately for last because there was a couple of days ago we had a SpaceX launch And a couple of people on the opposing side of this argument have got all excited about their rocket launch. So the rebuttal to any claims of things like rockets in space or orbits or anything like this is the following question. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure, like we're all breathing, high pressure gas, without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon? Any evidence of gas pressure without a container?
None whatsoever.
The Earth is an open system, or
And let's not go into that yet, Arwin. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container? Just fix that for now.
well,
Just to
the
that
only
question.
evidence would be is that you would assume that all things are not in a container, and then that would be the evidence.
Okay, that assumption is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, though, isn't it, Arwin?
Yeah, until you prove it, though. But how do you
Natural
get
law,
there?
natural law, self-explanatory and inviolable.
Let me try.
Hold on, just
let
one
me try
second.
with-
Hold on 1 second. Just 1 second. No. We're dealing with natural law, Arwin. So, no, it's not an assumption that's okay and valid until proven false for the sake of argument. Or just waiting to be proven true, but we definitely know it's true anyway because we made a really good story up about it. It's in violation of natural law, applicable always and inviolable. Nothing will be violating these natural laws that are applicable always, and in this instance, gas pressure would fill any available volume it has to fill. Now, in the case of the heliocentric paradigm, they have an available volume called space, and the gas, by way of natural law, will want to fill that available volume. Now, the fact that we have gas pressure here at all proves beyond all certitude that the sky is definitely not a vacuum called outer space.
So, Arwen, to the question, a yes or no. Can you have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
Probably not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Stands in violation of natural law. You definitely can't have the gas pressure that we're breathing without containment. And if the available volume of space the gas has to fill is space, outer space, a sky vacuum, then fill it must, as dictated by natural law. In this instance, the second law of thermodynamics, the entropy law. The gas would fill the space. We wouldn't have any gas to breathe if the sky was a vacuum. Now, they claim we have an open system capable of them traversing the gas pressure that we all breathe and entering a vacuum without anything impeding them. Well, that, again, is a stone-cold violation of the second law of thermodynamics, because the gas that they traverse, that's going to want to move in high velocity in all directions to fill the available volume. The available volume being the place they're claiming to travel to. Therefore, the place they're claiming to travel to, outer space, is fake. All pictures or missions or travel claimed to have taken place in the sky vacuum known as outer space are automatically fake. SpaceX believers, with your presupposed orbits and your sky vacuums, it's all nonsense. You don't have to like it. Natural law. Second law of thermodynamics. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan, by the way, it's kind of funny that you bring all that up in such detail, because I've been watching the Space Force series on Netflix, and they literally had this moment where there was a launch, and it's like, oh yeah, we're launching, and then you see it going like, oh, the video feed got cut off. Oh no, we're all worried. What's going on with it? And then like one of the guys is like turning on a computer. It's like, click. No, it's in orbit. Hooray! We did it! Yay!
Oh, so they're
Just like
reaffirming the fakery where they have the transition period and they have to cut to CGI and lose the feed and all the rest of it in reality. They've just kept that continuity with the fake dramatisation so that people have the idea that that's all normal or just everyday problems that they have to encounter without putting two and two together, that the bit that they're losing transmission is where they're actually entering the place they claim to be going, which is a sky vacuum. But in the dramatisation, they also show you it going wrong. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that good question, and I've asked this before. after learning it well here on the show with the back and forth debates. Do we live in an open or closed system? To start off there with people, and they have to, unless they're on it, they have to hang on. It's been a while. And then they say, oh, well, we live in an open system. Great, you make it very easy for me. You can't have gas pressure without containment.
In reality, as per the second law of thermodynamics, the system we live in must be closed. If it's open, by way of entropy, the gas is going to escape. But it needs to be closed. We need to be in a contained system to have the gas pressure we're all breathing. That's the bottom line. You can't have gas pressure without a container. We must be contained.
And if they say closed, they contradict everything that the space agencies say. And if you look it up, if I'm not mistaken, in an open system, energy and matter could have free movement. But in the closed system, only energy and matter cannot go out.
Yeah, it's got to be open because they've got claims that they're sending out these giant rockets to the sky vacuum. So there can't be anything in the way. You can't have a, great big, what do they call it in Spaceballs? Forgotten what they call it. The container that they put around Druidia.
Oh, right.
Well, say membrane or container or something.
It's the air shield.
Air shield. The air shield that they put around Druidia would preclude things from leaving. So, like in Spaceballs, they get around that with a little hatch that they open. Well, none of those narratives are prevalent in the heliocentric religion. It's an open system next to a sky vacuum violating natural law. Simple as that.
Maybe they just run out of energy.
So notice, for the audience's benefit, during this conversation, we haven't had any need whatsoever to discuss CGI fakery, whether or not the rocket would work in space, whether or not the pictures have been doctored. All of that is immediately by the wayside, by way of the fact that they have claimed these pictures come from Narnia, a fake place. So rather than arguing about whether or not the snow would settle in Narnia, or whether or not the time dilation would cause problems with the burning of the lamp that they have in the crossroads that they get to through the wardrobe, or how the time dilation problem works when you go through the wardrobe, you don't have to argue about any of that because Narnia's fake. Likewise, you can't have gas pressure, like we're breathing, without a container. We must be contained to have gas pressure. The fact they claim we're in an open system next to a vacuum and the gas would fill the space means we don't need to argue about the images they show us, or what they might represent, or what they claim they are, or where they claim they are taken from, is fake. Just say it's fake, and prove it with natural law. Hey, Chocolate.
Good morning.
We're just going over the SpaceX stuff. We're just going over the SpaceX stuff, pointing out that you don't need to go through the fakery of the CGI, or the logistics of the travel, or the amount of fuel they used, or whether or not the fuel would work in the vacuum. None of that's necessary. As soon as you disprove the place they claim they're going to, that would be out of space. Because the sky vacuum would be an available volume for the gas we're breathing to fill, and it must. Oh, what do you know? We've got got Druidia on screen. So this barrier isn't there in your heliocentric worldview of a sphere in a vacuum flying around the sun. This isn't here. It's just space, a vacuum. Not this kind of vacuum. This is nonsense because it would have to create a differential in the bag between the vacuum and the vacuum. No. Nonsense. This is just claimed to be 10 to the minus 17 Tor in the worldview that's about as real as this picture. That would be sphere Earth in a vacuum. And without this barrier, the gas inside is just going to want to fill the vacuum. That's natural law. So we don't have this bit. This bit's fake. The bit they claim they're going to with the rockets, the space bit, the vacuum bit, that's all fake. Everything they ever came from that area is all fake. Automatically. No need to argue about any of it, other than the fact that the place is fake. So we don't have to argue about Narnia and how the logistics of Narnia work. It's Narnia. It's fake. Space. Fake. No need.
I'd agree there's no need, but I have actually been having fun with it. just because the fakery is so fun to point out to people. It's like I'm showing people this stuff and they're looking at it. Like the normies that believe this stuff, they're looking at it like, is that real? that looks like a model. You know, or what happened to the rocket footage? Like they just happened to lose signal at the crucial moment when this thing is supposed to land, and then 10 seconds later, magically, there it is. Like it's just been fun.
Yeah,
But I understand. Obviously, none of this crap is happening in a real place. So, but yeah, it's
it got
fun.
a lot of
We tried to
criticism in years
contain
gone
it in
by
the
for the
pre-show.
fakery of the landing on the pad out at sea. So they've just cut that bit out now because people take the piss out of it and just have a connection loss, and then look, it's landed.
It's so bad. Like everyone that I showed that to, they were like, "No way, are you kidding?" Because it's not even like when they cut back to it, it looks like it just landed. It just looks like it was sitting there for 10 minutes already. They just cut back to it like, "Oh, there it is." It's so blatantly ridiculous. Oh man, it's great.
Like I say, that's the least of their concerns. The place they just claim they've come back from is a fake place. So let's say, for the sake of argument, we carry on this line. So somebody listening in goes, "Oh, that's a really good line of attack. I'll have that line of attack," and point it out over and over again. And then one day they say, "You critic, come and watch it happen live," and they show you a cylindrical rocket landing on the ground before your very eyes, and you go, "Oh right, so it can be done then." And they go, "Yeah, therefore space is real." That's what they'll do.
All right, that's cool. They'll just have to prove that that's where that came from.
Exactly. The crutch of the argument isn't about the fakery or whether or not it can land or whether or not the rocket would work. None of it's relevant. Where did they say it went? Space? No, we don't need to concern ourselves with how you faked it. We know you faked it. You didn't go to space.
Yeah, but you know what? I have to say, like, it just based on a conversation I just had like 20 minutes before I got on here, right? So I showed one of my coworkers that very footage, and what he said was to me, like, he used the analogy of, you know, if you see a roach, you're pretty sure that there's other roaches like somewhere hidden, a lot more roaches under the cupboards and under the house that you don't see. He's like, "Well, I feel like you just showed me a roach, man. Like this bothers me, and it's gonna make me think like there's other shit." And I was like, "Bro, you have no idea." So just showing him that footage gave him the inkling to say, "Hey, there's obviously something wrong," because everybody was waiting for this moment, and then they magically cut. So for some normies, like, they have to start on some type on that type of level, because I've told him about the gas of space and all this, the vacuum, and how it just can't, it's not possible. None of that took with him. But I showed him this, and he was like, wait a minute. You know, so everybody's got their level where they got to start. So
No, I totally get it. You know, it fascinated me the day I got here. First, one of the earliest videos I made was about the fakery of the moon landing, because it suddenly opens up that door, and you go, "Wow! So therefore, all of that must be fake. Let's have a quick look at it. Oh my god, look how fake it is! I must tell the world." Whereas, you know, had I had known better, I'd have just gone, "Yeah, they can't be going to the moon. They're travelling through a sky vacuum that isn't real. It violates natural law." And that would have debunked every single argument they ever had about any moon landing claims without having to look at anything about the cameras, which is what I looked at. I'm like, how did they do this from the ground? So what? If they prove... And that's what happened. I had the process. I went through the process. They explained how it could be done. Therefore proving the moon landings are real. No, it doesn't. Proving that it's capable of happening. All right, well, let's argue about whether or not it's capable of happening. Whether or not we can land a rocket on a bed out at sea. Well, let's argue about that rather than whether or not the place they've just claimed they've been to that confirms the paradigm of a heliocentric worldview is actually real or not. Let's argue about whether or not the rocket's capable of doing that. Like, I can argue about whether or not 1950s batteries are capable of transmitting those distances. And when you lose and they prove it's capable, does that prove that they went to the moon? No. But they'll say it does, because they've won their argument. And the argument was about whether or not the transmission and battery capabilities were up the scratch that could do it in the 60s. Or 50s.
But Saturday they were talking about bouncing signals off the moon and Venus.
Lovely. Venus that they've presumed is the same size as Earth with the R value we've debunked with the black swan. And in a sky vacuum, Yeah, that was quick.
Yep.
So let's stay on this gas pressure for a minute. Gas pressure, can you have it in an open system, or is it only possible in a closed type of system?
To maintain gas pressure, you've got to be contained. Without the container, there can be no pressure. End quote. Conspiracy Cats 2019. Science teacher. Very correct, he was too. You need containment for the gas to press on. It's pressure. Pressing. So if it doesn't have anything to press on, it's just going to keep travelling at high velocity in whatever direction it's travelling in until it hits something.
Right. So now let's bring it down to Earth. Not that we went out of Earth, but scuba tanks. You fill them with a compressor full of air, and the diver enjoys maybe 45 minutes to an hour worth of beautiful oxygen underwater in a closed container. But as the gauge says, hey, you're running out of oxygen, the container has to be refilled again. So the only way you can have gas pressure is within containment. So this natural law, in no matter what example I use, always needs containment for it to work.
Yeah. As Conspiracy Cat so succinctly puts, without the container, there can be no pressure. End quote.
That's why it's the number one killer argument about that black stuff right next to the atmosphere of all their globe pictures.
Yeah. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. And all the cartoons of rockets, you can show me them all you like, won't mean that they're travelling to Narnia. I mean space.
Okay, so Discord, ballers, are they there? Can we see if any of them want to join and talk?
Got Ed here.
Oh.
No, not again.
Oh, come on, Neil.
As long as you don't circle jerk.
No, if he does, then he gets thrown out. So if he's got to learn like a dog not to pee on the carpet every time.
No ad homs, he's not a dog.
No, I'm saying like.
Not yet.
I have dog. I'm not calling it a dog. I wouldn't do that. But got to eventually realize if you keep circle jerking, he's going to get kicked out.
Can't believe I'm doing this to you. I've been doing it all day. Can we not poison the well? He's only just got it. It's not yesterday.
Welcome, Ed.
Welcome, Ed. Good to have you.
Okay. Hi, Ed.
Thank you.
We got Neil to say hi to you, Ed. That was a victory.
Yeah.
So what's going on, Ed? Do you think you can have gas pressure next to an open vacuum without any kind of containment to create the pressure in the first place?
Well, yeah, but I'm wondering, do you really believe space is a vacuum, though? I've
Space
heard
is
many
fake.
flat earthers say something
Space is
else.
fake. So you're just asking us what we believe about space. It's fake. He's just pointed out why. You've ignored him and asked us about our belief in this place that we've just pointed out is fake. So we're off to a bad start, Ed. He's just pointed out why and how it's fake. And now you're asking us our opinion about this place. We don't want to discuss Narnia and the whys and wherefores of Narnia. Narnia's not real. Space isn't real. So our beliefs about your belief about space is irrelevant. Okay, Ed? Just get that clear from the off.
Well, it's not irrelevant, because if it's not a vacuum, then why do we need a container exactly?
For the gas we're breathing, it's a necessary antecedent. Without containment, we wouldn't have gas pressure. So there must be containment.
May I, Ed?
Told you.
I'm sorry, Nathan. May I ask Ed a follow-up question to his follow-up statement? Ed, so are they saying that there's atmosphere up there, so that's why they have specially designed suits and a capsule and they carry their own oxygen to a place that supposedly has oxygen? Is that what you're saying to us?
Wait, what? I never said space has oxygen. I don't follow what you're saying.
Oh, well, you said it's not a vacuum.
No, I didn't say that. I said I heard many flat earthers say it's not a vacuum, and I asked if you were in the same boat as them.
The space is fake.
Well,
There is
why don't
no
you-
space. I've just said this. Yeah, I know you now
Yeah,
want to
okay.
use this. I'm answering
Right,
you,
then
Ed.
it's
I'm answering
clarified.
your stereotyping fallacy. Many flat earthers, that's fascinating. Couldn't care less. That's a stereotyping fallacy. Fallacy number 1 been used already. So no, don't care what other flat earthers say. We say there is no space. It's completely fake. It's like Narnia. Why? Well, because if the gas that we're breathing had an available volume called space to fill it would. It's called entropy. Natural law dictates this. It's inviolable. We have natural law to prove it's not real, so our opinions, or the opinions of other flat earthers, are inconsequential, Ed. It matters not. Shout out to Al Junkie. He says, water vapour reacts. Sean Hawkins is not an ASS. Water vapour reacts. Okay. I don't know, man. Super chatting me about the water boy. More than happy to take your money, Al Junkie. Thank you very much for your support. I don't really understand your messages, but I understand certain part of the context. Sean Hawkins, aka the water boy. Yeah, get it. Thank you for the super chat.
So Ed, we are not saying space is a vacuum. That is coming from the ballers. We are saying space is fake. So let's start
I know.
off good. So let's start off good. Can you have, now that we're on the right road here. So if we're saying space is fake, and are you a baller that takes the other tack that says it's a vacuum? Are you that person? So I know who I'm talking to.
Well, I was trying to get to my question, which is, if you're saying
But
space is not a
But can you
vacuum,
answer my question?
then why
Are
do you
a
need a
baller?
container?
I've already
Hang
answered
on,
that.
before
He's
you-
completely ignoring me. Right, I'm not going to tolerate this for the entire show, Ed. I'm going to ask you to repeat it back. Why would we need containment? It's a necessary antecedent for gas pressure that we are breathing. Please, can you repeat that?
If space is not a vacuum,
I'm going to kick you
Then
out
where
if you
would
don't
the air
repeat it.
escape
You've got
to?
2 choices. Ask me a question or repeat the thing that you've ignored twice. You've asked the same question and I've given you the same rebuttal. You have literally ignored me. So now either you've got 2 choices, Ed. Repeat my rebuttal, because I'm not going to do it 12 times like yesterday. That's not going to happen. You're going to either repeat my rebuttal that you're ignoring and have repeated twice to only affirm your question that's been debunked by my rebuttal you've ignored. You can either repeat it or I'll kick you out. That's your 2 choices. So either I'm going to hear about necessary antecedents and gas pressure pressing, or I'm going to kick you out. That's your choice.
I already heard what you said.
Bye-bye.
I'm asking a
Bye-bye.
follow-up
You're going.
question.
You're not repeating what I asked you to repeat. You're not acknowledging it. You're ignoring it. So now you can fuck off. I'm sick of these assholes. He thinks that by saying, I haven't ignored it, that's going to be an acknowledgement of the rebuttal that he's ignored twice. No. I want to hear him repeat my rebuttal. From now on, if I refute something, you're going to damn well state it back to me. I'm not going to go round in circles a dozen times with someone completely fundamentally ignoring my demolition of their fundamentalist zealotry, only to assert their question or challenge us with a new claim or do any of the other obfuscation tactics. I'm tired of it. Sick of it. No, if we refute something, I want it acknowledged from now on. If you don't acknowledge it, I'm going to kick you out. The rules are going to tighten. We are the minority here. The majority of you are complete clowns. I'm talking about the general consensus public. You're clowns. You've been fooled. Now we're here trying to come here and ignore us pointing out where and how you're wrong. Then go away and stick your head in the sand somewhere else. It's so rude to just completely disregard and ignore a rebuttal to something that you've stated. Now we don't get away with that. If something's stated to us, it's absolutely, we're held accountable indefinitely. And our responses are held up to task constantly. We make a rebuttal, and it's entirely ignored, only to have the same crap assertion made 12 times after the rebuttal, with it repeated back to them 12 times. Now, I'm not going to stand for this crap. Why should we? We're the minority. If we've got a good quality argument, it should be acknowledged. Should be commended.
I take back my hello.
See what he was You could see what he was doing because when I asked him just to state what it is, he asked a question. He wouldn't state what it was.
They'll only communicate when it's in line with their fundamentalist religious zealotry. If you have a conversation, an opener, a point, a discussion about anything that is not in line with their fundamentalist zealotry, it will either be completely ignored or talked through. So the justification for ignoring it is that they didn't hear it, and neither did the audience. Shut down communication because you don't need an audience hearing how terrible it is that you can't have gas pressure without a container, when your question on the opposing side is, well, why would we need a container then? Yeah, that's an outrage. You want to keep on that line of nonsense that the dude in chat's punting, this geometric horizon is real guy with his head in the sand, in regards to the Black Swan arguments, punting? Oh, well, if we can't have gas pressure without a container, why do we need a container? It's essentially his double-speak nonsense question that Ed thinks is clever. Well, I've answered you, Ed. It's not like the chat when you can just ignore all rebuttals and claim one hasn't come. I can point it out verbally to my audience because they've heard me say it.
It was like this in my chat half hour before the show here started. So he's just in a very trollish mood today, and he's like enjoying lying and deceiving to you right on the spot. It's pretty disgusting.
Well,
Ed,
my puppy example wasn't too far off.
Yeah, pretty close.
Should have never said hello.
I heard it when you dropped it, and it was funny. I just didn't want to laugh and ruin the moment, but it was funny when you dropped it in earlier. I take back my hello. Hey, Chemo, you got talked about in the pre-show. Well, that's jolly good to hear. Oh, well, you know, we like to promote you and you're making us laugh, Chemo. Good to have you.
Yeah.
Oh, mic rustlings. Hey, Chemo.
One sec.
No worries. So just as a refresher, Chemo has used the same SpaceX rebuttal to the ballers that were discussing it 50-1 on his show. Or 49-1, or whichever number it is to 1.
Oh, yeah, I'm here now. Can you hear me?
We can. We were just talking about you watching SpaceX with the ballers and then going, yeah, but your sky vacuum's a violation of natural law? And then just watching them all fall to pieces?
Yeah, I mean, as we were going through just the whole thing being a CGI thing, and then it was like, we can't forget, well, hey, everything that we're watching is breaking all laws of science as we're, so I just thought I'd pick that up, and they just couldn't handle it. They couldn't watch it. They couldn't bear to hear, like, as I was going through it with them. I'm sure you heard. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna mute Chemo. I don't want to hear what he has to say." And I was like, "Yeah, you can." I mean, I understand their pain. I was just, as you were saying, just who was it, Ed or somebody? I was thinking, but I'm here for the therapy. If you guys cannot handle losing the globe and you want to transition smoothly from globe to flat Earth, come and talk to me, and hopefully we can find out why you're struggling to cope with the loss of...
Let's give you a proper plug. So that's Under No Pressure is the channel name, and it's Spurs Chemo's channel. He's there to give chemotherapy. So Be Here or Be Sphere. A lot of the shows are called like 49-1 on Under No Pressure channel. So check it out.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like the way you jumped into their little party and was that nagging voice behind their head.
Yeah, because they really believe it, right? They're like,
yeah.
Because just before that, I mean, I didn't even realize it was on. I was talking about something else, and they were like, "Hey, Chemo, SpaceX is launching in 2 minutes." I mean, they were talking about it throughout the day, but I wasn't like, I didn't know what time. They were like, start in 2 minutes. So I was like, okay, let's have a look. And then straight away.
Do you enjoy that SpaceX, brother? the magical rockets that appear. You gotta love that stuff, bro.
It's so hard for them to to hear. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it's fake. They don't want to hear it's CGI. I said we're probably going to see another mouse or something like this. Just calling it all out, and especially the science that did it for them. Because they'd have to explain how is it going into a region where violate, science as we know it. So it was fun.
Ed Freeze.
Did you guys manage to watch it? Yeah, you watched it, Nathan, or you didn't bother?
I saw.
I didn't. Just one sec. I just want to shout out Al Junkie. Hold on. His bloody super chat scrolled off screen now. Ed Freeze can't be freezened with hashtag rebuttal ignorer. Thanks for the super chat, Al Junkie. Sorry, go ahead, Spurs and 10th Man. My bad.
Well, I'm just saying both of you. Does any of you guys watch it? SpaceX live.
I don't watch these religious broadcasts. Same goes for my neighbours. So when it launched, I was shrink wrapping up some of the toys that we put in circulation to put them in the garage, and I'm taking them down, humping and dumping all these toys. And as I'm there, I see all these people gathered around. I'm like, what's going on? And my direct neighbour, the woman who lives beneath me, comes up and says, we've just watched the rocket launch. I was like, oh, that's lovely. And I carried on, went about my business. And when I came up to stairs, I said to my wife, they're having a religious meeting downstairs.
Yeah, it's like a big gathering. Yeah, that's what they're going to worship their idol, I suppose. Their phallic pose.
Oh, no. Heliocentric. Their religion is a sun-centric religion. They have the sun at the centre, and they've got a penis rocket flying out. And they all watch it. But they're basically being told what heaven is, aren't they? Their heaven is outer space, the sky vacuum. Now, the fact that the Western world aren't overtly told that they're part of a religious belief is neither here nor there. People partake in religious meetings like that one that I witnessed. I don't watch them. I don't go out. I don't even have a TV. I'm sure you could find it online, but do I go out of my way to watch these things? No.
Same as that. I mean, I didn't even realise they were like, it's on, pay attention, everyone. They wanted everyone's attention onto it. So I was just like,
I watched it while watching your show. The notification came up, and I said, all right, what's going on here? So I was taking a rest from work, and what made me keep watching your show was because it reminded me of a time where two football teams were playing here in the United States, the American football, and I was the only Los Angeles Ram fan. Everybody else was the other team's fan. So I was like you against all those guys, my team against their team. And and of course my team was, whooping them. And so I was just commenting and eating popcorn and laughing and joking and punning. And I said, well, Spurs is doing kind of the same thing. He's the only flat earther on this on this thing.
On the scene.
He's ruining their game.
I'm just going to do another shout out because I missed one. Sorry, my bad. I didn't see your Sleeping Warrior super chat. So Bleeding Warrior says, shout out Sleepy Warrior for buying subs and lying. I asked last time you super chatted, do you have a receipt? Can you show this to me and prove he did it? Until then, it's just your speculation. But if you want to give me money to speculate about Sleeping Warrior's subs buying, alleged subs buying, then feel free. Give me money. I really appreciate the support, Bleeding Warrior. Thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry to interrupt Spurs and 10th Man again.
Can I say something?
I think
This
Spurs
is
was
where
about
they're
to.
at right now.
Again,
Buying subs.
Yeah, pay to slander. This is all about pay to slander.
Okay, as it's getting mentioned.
Anyway.
Yes, Neil, you can. Just give me 10 seconds. From what Sleeping Warrior explained when we were interviewing, I can't remember what we were doing. I think we were talking about Dr. Danny Faulkner. He explained that he suddenly gained I don't know how many, a lot of subs. I have no idea how many the amount is. In any event, he said he gained some subs and he hadn't, warranted any growth. He hadn't been shouted out by anybody. There was no reason to gain these subs. So his natural assumption is someone's bought me subs. Since then he's being accused of lying and buying subs. So his logic, Sleeping Warrior's logic when he explained it to me, was that somebody's bought him subs so they can accuse him of buying subs and lying about it. So there we go. And someone's obviously spending money to super chat me, so I'll talk about it. So there we go. That was what it was explained to me. I know Sleeping Warrior pretty well. I've known him for a while. And I'm going to state this, right? And if I'm proven wrong, man, I'll eat my words. But there we go. There is no way in God's green earth Sleeping Warrior would spend money on subs. I know Sleeping Warrior pretty well. And I'm going to say that. Hand on heart, I know he has not bought subs. That is the last thing he will spend money on. Ever.
Oh, come on, man. You know Sleeping Warrior is all about the statistics and the popularity. And
He couldn't care less. He doesn't even look at his statistics for YouTube. I nag him to do so because I'm all about the statistics. Check it out. Sleeping Warrior Super Chat. $2. Let's see what he says. Or £2, I should say. Thank you very much for the Super Chat. I did not have subsexual relations with that service. Okay.
Nice.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, let's just
Trolls
nip that in
need
the
something
bud.
better to do after losing your poor geometric horizon. Y'all better find something. Y'all need a hobby or something.
Yeah, it's a red herring. Let's attack Sleeping Warrior for a bit rather than attack the fact that we don't have a geometric horizon or that we don't have a space or that we're not spinning. Yeah. Meanwhile, Sleeping Warrior's bought subs. All right. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, technically, Sleeping Warrior with that super chat is kind of gaslighting himself there.
Nah, I don't think so. So do you mean the other guy, the sock Sleeping Warrior? What he's called,
No, the real
Sleeping Warrior or something?
No, he's repeating a statement from somebody historically that is very known to be lying about that right in that moment. So it's like he's like kind of gaslighting himself for fun.
Ah, no, it's just I call that reverse psychology or reverse psychology humor. He's dropping it in so
Right.
that you could do exactly what you've done, which is imply that by utilizing that particular quote, he's actually therefore guilty. No.
Yeah,
But
I think you're onto something. I think that the previous super chatter was right.
Oh God, no! I think Sleeping Warrior is on a different level to most people, and therefore what you have explained is probably a surface level thing that he thought about before using that quote, knowing Sleeping Warrior, because he works on multiple levels. He's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, enough buttering up Sleeping Warrior, who is ace. Subscribe today. Check him out.
Now, it's an interesting repercussion after he does an egg test to have someone buy him 200 subs.
Was it 200?
Yeah, it was 200.
Man, 200's a lot of subs. I don't know if I can't.
They're nobodies. They don't exist.
Well, it's just that's about the number I gained when Eddie Bravo shouted me out. So, that was on a decent sized channel, and he literally told the audience to come and subscribe to me. So, something significant's got to happen to gain 200 subs at this level. Don't get me wrong, PewDiePie's probably getting 200 subs a second, but at this level, you've got to have something actually happen to have that happen.
I can't miss this. So did Eddie Bravo get accused of buying you 200 subs?
Well, no, but it's just obvious that's why I've gained a load of subs. Because somebody shouted me out. So, the Dr. John D video came out and he gave me particular appreciation and I gained half a dozen subs. And you go, well, now I know why in a short period of time I've just gained a few subs. Because somebody's shouting me out and telling people that I'm great. Which I am. Subscribe today. Shout out to Unitox Femu, who says, I only debunked vacuum. Let's speak about the container.
Getting back to Neil.
Oh, sorry, Neil. Jesus. I mean, I had you in my back. I knew all along. Go ahead, Neil. I was just waiting to reintroduce you to the conversation.
Just wanted to say they tied that rocket launch in with all the riots going on in America, that there is hope for mankind.
Oh my God! You got something. It's Antifa. Antifa's against rocket launches. So I gotta be stopped, guys.
Antifa? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Look it up.
Good.
That's what's going on in America right now.
This is the
Riots
riots.
in every city.
I'm not
So-
Mr. Current Affairs.
But
I'm sorry.
There's hope for mankind. 'cause
The riots,
are going
and this
to
is it.
streets.
Someone fill me in.
Yeah, it's
It's,
Antifa riots. It's a political group of sort of anarchist communists that are sponsored by certain types of individuals that are notorious, And yeah, they've been going out on the street, so it's like a new project. Like go and harass shit and riot.
It's really
is it-
serious though, because
just-
they're affecting every city. And Trump, he's gonna unleash the military. Basically, that's what he said. If the governors and mayors are not gonna stand up to this, he's gonna bring in the military. So it's getting a little scary here.
So my first question, when
Not
I think it
wrong,
was
right?
Neil that told me about this yesterday. Was it you, Neil?
Yeah.
My first question was, well, are the riots actually happening? And you kind of confirmed, and I've
Yes.
since.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I know that bit. Though I was going to go on to the next bit, which is it organic or controlled op? In other words, is this of the people, or is this of the government so that they can instruct a high degree of martial law?
That's what
I
I'm
would say it's a
confused about, 'cause
combination
it
of
seems
both.
like it could be either one.
I've seen shit to make me think this is being staged, but it's also using the emotions of the people to kind of spark it.
I see.
They're trying to reignite, well, not protest, but rather riot culture. And they are given incentives, and the police is kind of working sneakily with them. Seems.
Hold
It's
on.
really-
That sounds like wild speculation. Look, thank you for filling me in on what it is, but at this point, I just want to, draw a line under it.
Tell
On
them
account of the
about
fact,
Bricks chocolate.
I don't want to move on to any wild speculation about this. Number one, I don't want my
It's not
YouTube channel
wild.
shut down. Number two, it's speculation anyway. It's something I wouldn't probably tolerate to begin with. But yeah, thank you for filling me in. I am extremely, what's the word? What's the opposite of savvy? Ignorant when it comes to current affairs.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Nathan,
best not to talk about it.
you never know anything, do you?
It's not that. It's just when it comes to things like this, if you look into them, I often find that further down the road you find out that they were toxic to begin with. It wasn't organic, and you might have got behind something and feel very stupid for getting behind it, or someone, or some narrative. And generally I find it all poisonous, so I try and avoid it. But occasionally, like now, there's an overlap in the subject that we're talking about. You know, there's an overlap with SpaceX. It's relevant to the subject matter in terms of the religious viewpoints. So we've got a couple of super chats to just shout out, sorry to break up the flow. But thank you very much for the support. Unitox Femu again. He says, SpaceX breaking news. First dinosaur in space. No, they're polluting my kid's mind with that nonsense. Dinosaurs in space is definitely not new. Anyway, also shout out to Bleeding Warrior again, who gives me more money to poison the well. He says, Sleeping Warrior bought the subs. Younger, all wrong. Younger, all wrong. Anybody understand what the hell he's babbling about?
Yeah, poor English.
Maybe he's trying to say you are all wrong. I don't know.
A spell
Oh, no,
error
no.
on a super chat. If you're paying,
It could
right?
be spell correct.
If I ever super chat anybody, now I am tight as poor and tight. So if I do super chat, it's normally very strategic at the right time when there's other people super chatting to get a roll going, things like that. But I will agonise over those words if I'm paying for them. You're not going to get a typo in one of my super chats. I'm paying for the thing. It normally only says in his ace or something. You know what I mean? Anyway, we kind of got off the beaten
Again,
track here.
Maybe
So-
you want to focus on where your geometric horizon is, or maybe you're actually your rotation or your gas pressure without a container. Something. Focus on something.
You don't need a
else.
geometric horizon.
hold on. We're still on the
Like, what's wrong
SpaceX
with
thing.
you guys?
I wanted
They
this.
got weight.
Hold on, I
Weight
wanted
is
to keep
the
this as a SpaceX thing. So you're saying that it's brought hope to all mankind, which is very similar to the words they claim are on the plaque on the moon, right?
Yeah.
We came in peace for all mankind. Those are the closing words on the plaque on the moon.
Yeah.
What? Back on the moon?
Am I wrong? Am I making this up? I don't know. Maybe I've made it up.
You mean what
Oh
Neil
my
Armstrong
gosh.
supposedly said?
Yeah, I thought that was
Okay,
part of the moon landing narrative. We came in peace for all mankind.
They're gonna. I just thought something funny. So one of the astronauts in this Narnia narrative, they got swung a golf club and hit a golf ball from the moon, and it just took off in the vacuum of space. And I'm just thinking one day it's going to re-enter Earth's atmosphere and hit some guy in the head. There's too much funny stuff going on. Plaque on the moon, golf balls.
Yeah, if you're new to this subject and you ever want a good giggle, just go and have a look at the moon landing footage. Literally, just go and watch some of it. It's absolutely shocking.
But it worked pretty well back in the day, you know, on the really small screens. And screens were new anyway, so it really drew everybody in. And they were just so baffled by the event in the moment that they really didn't have any reference frame to judge anything about it at the moment, you know?
Exactly. How are you going to know what it's supposed to be like in space? You just got what's on TV. You got these pictures, like, from what is it? DIT? It's not DITRH. Darth. D-A.
Yeah,
right.
DARTH, I think.
No, yeah.
We know who you are.
Yeah, when you look at their official pictures of the lunar lander, all these curtain rods and aluminum foil, it's so funny. I've shown that to people, and they said, "You're faking that picture." I go, "No, this is from them."
I just went through that. I just showed somebody that the stupid little aircraft, or the spacecraft connected to the ISS, and somebody was like, "What is that?" I was like, "This is supposed to be the craft that brought the guys to the ISS." They're like, "No, it's not."
No.
I'm like, "Wait a minute! You're the one who believes this. I'm showing you. This is what they're showing you." He was like, "No, that looks like a model."
That's my favorite thing
it was
ever.
The model they used for in case that it didn't work out, you know.
That's my favorite thing ever. Like do you remember Starman? When Starman came out, I would show that to people, and they'd demand that you justified how real it was because they're telling you it's fake, and you're like, no, this is actually your religious belief. This is actually what you're supposed to believe in as being real, and they argue with you about that bit. No, I'm not supposed to accept that as real. That's not supposed to be real. That is actually supposed to be fake. No, honestly, this is punted to your side as being real. You find yourself arguing about them supposed to be accepting it as real?
Nathan, I had to actually show them the YouTube, like show them this is coming from SpaceX. I didn't make this up. This is directly from them. I had to go to their live feed to show this person, and he was like, "Nah, that's crazy. That looks like a model."
Maybe that's how the magic trick works. Maybe that's the whole point. I.e., you start justifying to your opponent why they should be believing it, because the average Joe Normie, 95% of the Western world, looks at that and goes, "No, it is fake." And if they're in an argument with a flat earther, the flat earther ends up taking the position to argue about how they should be accepting it as real.
Yes, that is the madness I've been going through the past 2 days with the SpaceX.
It is kind of true, isn't it? How bizarre the roles have just switched around, that we're trying to prove to the ballers that their religion, that they're supposed to think it's real when we know it's fake, and then they're trying to argue, no, it's all faked because they can't show us the real thing because of technical issues or whatever kind of. And that's what we end up with.
Right, I'm just going to do a well-timed shout-out to Unitox Femu again. Thank you very much for all the support, Unitox Femu. Can I ask you something about my claim? I'll just say that again. Can I ask you something about my claim? That's the standard. What a good piece of timing. So there's Starman on screen, and you show that to a normal person, and they go, "Yeah, of course that's not real. Don't try and tell me that's real." And you go, "No, that's what you're supposed to believe in." And you get into that, like I say, this weird magical argument where you end up as the person on the wrong side of this argument that's claiming this is real, what's on screen now, and the person that's supposed to believe it's real doesn't, and you're trying to explain to them how they're supposed to believe it. But you never get to the stage where you say, "Well, yeah, once I get you to understand that you're supposed to believe this is real, I've then got to pull apart why it isn't." It's so convoluted.
I've had that exact same combo plenty of times, man. Like, it's such a weird position to be in. It's crazy. I know we do it a lot here, But when you're having that conversation with normal people, like that are not into this that much, it's so weird because you're like, yeah, this is your story. The thing that you're telling me I'm crazy for not believing, this is it.
Yeah, this is
And you
the
see
bit.
how you don't believe it? So you see the irony in that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is a
insane, man.
clever magic trick. You know, there can't be a coincidence that you've got Elon Musk himself saying, you know, it's real because it looks so fake. That's got to be part of the magic trick. You know, somebody somewhere, a clever psychologist, has worked out, yeah, if you make it a little bit more fake, that will actually work in your favour, because the people trying to debunk it will end up arguing for the person who's supposed to be believing it but thinks it also looks fake. You'll have the flat earther arguing, telling him he should be understanding how real it should be. So you never get to the point where you say, yeah, it looks fake because it is fake. We've already covered that base with the man who's made the footage, i.e. Elon Musk, or the, you know, credited person, the credited source. Al Junkie, thank you very much for your super chat. He says, astronauts hit a black hole in one, swing and ISS, or miss. Swing and miss, spelled with a capital ISS. So astronauts hit a hole in one, swing and miss. Thank you very much indeed for your super chat, Al Junkie. Also, shout out to James Richard, who also hit the super chat, who says, if I can scroll up and find it, here we go. Space, it truly only exists within the imagination. Really? Let that sink in. Yeah, absolutely. Space is not real. It's the equivalent of Narnia. Only exists in your imagination, people. You don't have to like it. Well said, James Richards. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat.
Well, Al Junkie, you had a good pun there. Well done.
Yeah, but Unitox Femu, if we're going to rate the super chats, can I ask you something about my claim?
That was good, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? Right, I'm claiming this space vacuum. Now, by way of a stereotyping fallacy, most flat earthers think blah, 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 blah about my fantasy of a sky vacuum. How do you justify blah, 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 blah about my fantasy of a sky vacuum? Because that's my claim. How do you justify my claim?
We're like, what vacuum? Remember, that's your claim, guy?
Right.
Man.
Yeah, we're
Well, they do
riddled
this all
with
the time.
fallacy. Sorry, go on, Owen.
They do this all the time. They do it with the supposed sun on the flat Earth model nonsense also, you know, on a daily basis. They just strawman you, tell you, like, yeah, this is not working like it's supposed to. Like, they're basically telling you, we can't model this. I don't understand your model. I've made this mistake in your model. You explain that to me.
Yeah,
And it's
We
effective.
don't have them. We don't have a model.
No, that's what Owen's saying. He's saying you've made a mistake in this model. We're saying you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically,
Well, that's why. That's
it's a-
why. Now that I got it correct, Chaiki owns these two quotes. One, Chaiki said, "If it's not a globe horizon, no horizon at all." Then he said, "If gravity is not a force, then there are no forces."
yeah, it's a burden of proof reversal fallacy, and a false dichotomy, and a stereotyping fallacy, all in one when they do this process of getting you to justify their claim. So that's essentially what they're doing, especially when they do it by way of a false dichotomy with a reification fallacy of two models, one that they're holding up against us, like we hold an azimuthal equidistant projection in our camp here. We don't. But by way of stereotyping fallacy, they'll assert that we do, and they'll try and burn it. So, no, we won't tolerate that. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making this live show possible. If you are watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.